The heart of any isekai anime lies in the premise that follows our main characters after they are brought into the new world, and the two things we are mainly concerned about are whether or not we are seeing a harem surrounding our main character and how powerful they get. What's cooking, folks, and welcome back to the channel. Join us now as we take a look at the top 10 harem isekai animes with an unstoppable main character. If you haven't already, then make sure you've pressed the subscribe button and have that notification bell ringing for all of our future updates. Without further ado, let's get into it. Number 10. Isekai no Seikishi Monogatari. Starting the list at number 10 is an anime that is rather unheard of, but boy is it good. Isekai no Seikishi Monogatari follows the story of Kenshai Masaki, who, long story short, gets kidnapped and brought into a whole new world. While not fundamentally a harem anime, the story still retains a lot of harem characteristics that make us feel no different from a traditional harem title. The main character himself is so skilled in combat that the empress of this new world takes a keen liking to him and appoints him as her servant and a potential love interest. You know, the main character is overpowered when the person he was sent to destroy ends up developing feelings for him simply because of how ridiculously powerful he is. Number 9. The hero is overpowered but cautious. Coming in at number 9 is an anime with a title stating that the main character is overpowered, leaving not much to say, but I will still give you the gist of it. The story revolves around Sei Ryujin, a hero tasked with protecting the goddess of that world, Ristheart. Sei excels at just about everything, his battle prowess as well as his planning and strategic abilities, and the story is heavily based on the narrative of Sei being extremely cautious about everything regardless of his immense power, making for a witty premise with a confined environment but countless ideas. Number 8. In Another World with My Smartphone. Landing at number 8 is an anime with probably the most unique title in this entire list. In Another World with My Smartphone follows the story of Mochizuki Tuya, a regular boy from Earth who God ended up killing by accident. I mean, he simply wasn't supposed to die, but God messed up real time, so he appears before God, who gives him a new chance to live in another world along with a smartphone that gives him a bunch of incredible abilities which he uses to make easy work of the foes he faces in this real world. Oh, and unlike most other animes, this protagonist was blessed with a harem that is as lucky as you can get. Number 7. Arifureta. Entering at number 7 is Arifureta, and you may or may not consider Arifureta a harem anime, but it has a lot of harem tropes to it, which is why we couldn't leave it out. The story revolves around Hajime Nagamo, who gets transported into a new world along with his classmates, only to find out that they have all gained powers, but he is the weakest of them all. The fact that the protagonist starts as the weak one but ends up getting ridiculously powerful is the very foundation upon which this anime is built. This also debunks all stereotypes that suggest that isekai animes must mostly start with an overpowered main character. Letting a character grow into an overpowered beast is something worth seeing as well, instead of the writers shoving all the ideas in at the beginning. Number 6. Isekai Cheat Magician. At number 6 is an anime with the word cheat in it, so you might have already guessed that things are not going to be fair and square in this anime. Isekai Cheat Magician follows the story of two main characters, Taiki Nishimura and Rin Azuma, both of whom are overpowered in their own ways. After being brought to a whole new world by being enveloped by a bright light, the two main characters come across a group of magicians and they befriend them and head into the Adventurers Guild. They realize that they have extraordinary powers capable of surpassing a lot of strong people that already exist within that world. Number 5. Problem children are coming from another world, aren't they? Coming in at number 5 is an anime that kinda walks the fine line of being underrated and deserving the love it gets. Problem Children Are Coming from Another World, Aren't They is a hell of a long title and follows the story of Isao Sakamaki, the undisputable protagonist of the series, who can whoop just about anyone. What makes this series a must-see is that there are two other characters who are almost as powerful as Sakamaki is, making you wonder what would happen if they managed to attain powers greater than Sakamaki himself, and who would win between their clash. Number 4. Seven Senses of the Reunion. Entering at number 4 is an anime that isn't quite popular, not because it is underrated but simply because it has a rather bland plotted story, but that doesn't change the fact that the main character of this anime is overpowered so much so that it starts frustrating you at some points. Haruto Amao, the protagonist of the story, is so darn good at what he does that he rarely needs any weapon or support to take on a massive number of enemies. He just wipes them out with his limitless control over aura. It's truly fascinating. Number 3, Overlord. The first entry of our top 3 list is Overlord, which might just have the most overpowered protagonist in all of Isekai, but that is just my personal opinion, and yes, Ainzo Ogaon has a harem. Please do not let anyone say otherwise. Unlike most stories out there, Overlord started by giving the main protagonist almost everything. He had the most powerful subordinates, complete control over magic, godlike magical power of his own, and to top it off he had magic items capable of leveling the entire world in a matter of seconds. Overlord is the definitive anime when it comes to taking things to the extreme. Number 2, Wise Man's Grandchild. Our next entry in the top 3 is an anime that a lot of people slept on, but man, they should have given this anime a chance. Wise Man's Grandchild has a smartly crafted world and characters that do not follow your generic anime tropes but add their unique flavor to the story as well as the characters themselves, making you feel as if you're watching an Isekai anime that feels generic but still retains its originality. The story revolves around Shin Wolflord, and I have to point out that Shin Wolflord is one of the coolest names I've ever heard, and the name itself sounds overpowered. Shin was brought to this new world after dying of unknown reasons in his original world, and no, he wasn't hit by truck, but lucky for him he reincarnated as the grandson of Merlin Wolflord, the most powerful magician in the entire universe. This gives Shin a major upper hand over the foes he faces in the new world and quickly makes him a ladies' man as power and charisma become synonymous with his existence. Number 1, How Not to Summon a Demon Lord. And at number 1 we have that one anime that perfectly fits the definition of having an overpowered main character who also has a harem and is also on an outsider who is summoned to a different world. The story follows Diablo, who is summoned from Earth, this random world where he befriends this mature-looking elf and this cat-like demi-human, forming a slave-master relationship with them while making himself accustomed to this real world using his unbelievably crazy newfound powers. This guy is one of the demon lords himself and is capable of taking down heaps of armies and mages all at once. The fact that he was able to take out another demon lord of similar power levels and tame her as well shows you just how powerful Diablo really is. So that was our list. Did we miss an entry that you believe deserved an entry as well? If you do, then feel free to share your thoughts in the comments section below, and on that note we will wrap up today's top 10 review. But before you leave, make sure you have pressed that subscribe button and have that notification bell ringing so you will never miss any of our future updates. Thanks for watching and I'll see you soon. Peace.